It is always game day in Cleveland. And Daryl, tell the good folks what they need to know.
Mobile sports betting is legal here in the state of Ohio. BetQL is here to help you make the most informed bets possible. See all of today's best bets by heading to BetQL.com or by downloading the BetQL app. Claim your free 3-day trial today. Go to BetQL.com/news/923TheFan for all of those exclusive sportsbook offers.
Daryl, I was a little shocked before the game. As I looked out the window from the Cardiac Club, which faces towards the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And
you saw both teams midfield throwing punches at each other?
No, we'll get to that in a second. But that when I turned around to look to see the crowds that were coming in on the other side of security, that there were a ton of San Francisco 49er fans, more so than I had thought we would see. In the years when the Browns weren't winning many games, I just expected it. And I was like, well, good. At least somebody's using these seats, right, and they're going to spend some money in our city if they're from somewhere else. I was absolutely shocked by the number of Niners fans that either made the pilgrimage or live here in Northeast Ohio, maybe because of the Youngstown connection.
Yep, I was just
with the Niners. So, but I was absolutely shocked by the number of Niners fans. And the thing that was even more like stomach churning was late in the game, the Niners fans were just overpowering on TV. I don't know if they had microphones closer to Niners fans than they did Browns, but the defensive chants made me think, was this a home game or what? Tell me what it was like, because I was out of the stadium at that point. As you saw from our postgame venue, I was at our television studios at Spectrum doing the postgame from there. So what was it like during the game?
Oh, no, you heard 49er fan. And so the Browns wanted the stadium to be white out. They asked them to wear white.
Because it was sponsored by Dude Wipes.
Oh,
that's the whole whiteout. That's why and I heard you say this in the pregame show, Brownie the Elf was white, was wearing all white.
Yeah. So they wanted everyone to wear white to the game. And so as before and after the congregation in midfield between the two teams.
Right.
I'm looking around and I'm seeing all this red in the stands, and I'm like, this is feeling like a 49ers crowd. I mean, I realize, Browns fan gets down in the Muni lot and wherever it is they do their tailgating at our West 6 tailgate that we have for the radio station and stuff. But I'm like, there are a lot of 49er fans. Like, is the entire
way too many.
Like, did the entire city of Youngstown come up to this game? Because, the DeBartlos, who used to own the 49ers, their headquarters were on Belmont Avenue near Youngstown. And I remember growing up, when the 49ers were winning Super Bowls with Joe Montana and Steve Young and stuff like that, like my dad would take me over to the headquarters because they'd bring the Vince Lombardi trophy and put it in their corporate offices for people to see. You remember how they used to do those big blow up things for the player introductions coming out of the tunnel for the Super Bowl, like that. So all of those would like be on the lawn of the headquarters and stuff. And the kid telling me, "Ooh, this is like really cool." Now as an adult, I'm just like, yeah, it's probably lame looking back on it. But as a kid, it was cool to see, right?
Right.
And, so and when the 49ers come east and they have to stay east, a lot of times they will stay in the Youngstown area and they will practice in the Youngstown area, similar to what the Browns are going to do when they go west to Denver. After the Denver game, they're going to fly on to Los Angeles and they're going to work at UCLA for a week before they play the Rams.
Of course, UCLA being that long-standing traditional Big Ten, right at home there, like in that Midwest Conference. FYI, Denise DeBartolo York still owns the team, so the DeBartolos still have it, but after some craziness, it's still part of the family. Yep.
Right. So, but yeah, I mean, it was a little surprising. It did feel like a lot of cheer when Christian McCaffrey scored that first touchdown. There was a roar from the crowd. Now, okay, well, because you're seeing a lot of I'll say rowdiness and misbehavior around the league, and I was a little concerned that some of that might pop up, and because there were so many vocal 49er fans at that game, and you know how Browns fan is.
I left before the bowl was full. Daryl, what was the percentage then?
It felt like 60-40 Browns to 49ers.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, why? I mean, we taled about the Youngstown part, but give me other reasons why. I can give you two.
Well, I mean, because let's be honest about it. And again, I enjoyed eating my crow on Monday and the barbecue sauce mixed with a little honey mustard in there. Look, no one gave him a chance in hell to win, right? And if you're a Browns fan and The weather's not supposed to be all that great. I get it. You sell your tickets, get a little money back, on your seats or whatever. I get it. But now I will say this. Hopefully going forward now, Browns fan realizes that they got a good football team. This is a good team. Hopefully Deshaun can come back and they can realize their potential. Hopefully they can stay relatively healthy for the remainder of the schedule, which, let's be honest about it, Andy, probably not going to happen, right? There's going to be some injuries that they're going to have to deal with along the way. Joel Bitonio is supposed to come back to practice this week. Anthony Walker's in concussion protocol. That's not great news because he's one of the leaders on the defense. They got a couple other guys, dealing with some bumps and bruises and whatnot. But, hopefully Browns fan realizes that they've got a good team this year. This defense is legit. How legit? Let me give you some numbers. This is
okay. Give me some numbers.
I want to give Dan Murphy. He is the director of football communications for the Browns. I want to give him some love because he tweeted these numbers out Monday afternoon. First downs allowed this season. Tampa Bay is 3 with 94. Dallas is at 81, and they play on Monday Night Football. Of course, we're recording this podcast before Monday Night Football. And the Cleveland Browns, not only are they number one, Andy, they've given up 52 first downs. But they are 29 first downs fewer than the number 2 team. Think about that for a second, right? And again, the Cowboys are going to add to that on Monday Night Football. Opponent third down conversion percentage. The Browns are number 1, and it's not even close. 23.1. Again, they held the 49ers to 3 of 12, which was the second worst third down percentage. Against the Rams, they were 2 for 9. So the percentage was like 23% or something like that against the Rams. So the second lowest third down conversion percentage of the season for the 49ers against Cleveland. The Atlanta Falcons, by the way, are the second team in third down percentage for a defense at 31.3. Again, there's a chasm between number 1 and number 2. And then the total yards. And there's a lot to say about this, right? Okay, so Baltimore, and we obviously, unfortunately, had to deal with that defense earlier this season. 1565 they've allowed. That gives them number 3. Dallas is number 2. They, of course, as I mentioned on Monday Night Football, they're at 1460. That number will go up. So Baltimore will probably be the number 2 defensive yards allowed. The Browns, again, not even close. 1,002 yards allowed. That is just mind-boggling. They give up 84 yards on the opening drive and 131 the rest of the afternoon. This is a really good defense, Andy, and what they're doing, it's historic. And again, it just reinforces my point that hopefully Browns fan starts to realize you got a really good football team.
The other stat that I keep wondering is, how many red zone plays have the Browns given up? It was like, I want to say it was 11 after the Ravens game. So I'm just trying to think of how many red zone plays they gave up. I mean, still, it's less than 30, probably 35. Yeah,
they're usually the only time they spend time in the red zone is because the offense has just turned the ball over.
Right.
Actually, I think that opening drive touchdown was the first touchdown that they gave up where a team drove the field on them. Because in Pittsburgh, right, that was an explosive.
It's a big play.
That was a 74-yard touchdown they gave up.
I want to say the Ravens drove the field on us.
Did the Ravens?
I'm pretty sure.
It hasn't been many. They have not given up a lot of quote unquote long touchdown drives.
Right. Yeah. No, I'm with you on that. Totally with you on that. Go ahead. Let's see.
Yeah, let's see here. Touchdowns. Nope, no touchdowns in that game. No touchdowns in that game. Hang on. I know this is exciting.
Wow. So let me give you the play-by-play if you're listening on the Odyssey app. Daryl is digging through all of his notes that he has in his office.
All my game books that I save.
With his 60,000 bobbleheads behind him.
Yes.
I am sitting at the beautiful Odyssey radio stations in an auxiliary booth with a window behind me and some padding so my voice doesn't fly all over the place.
Yeah.
By the way, for those of you that really care, this is also the studio that I sit in when I do Hits for Spectrum News 1, which normally air on Saturdays.
Oh, look at you.
Just trying to get you up to speed.
Yeah, against Baltimore. Yeah, so Baltimore, they did an 8-play, 93-yard drive for a touchdown there. 10-play, 74-yard drive, and a 6-play, 38-yard drive that resulted in touchdowns. So
there you have it. All right, Daryl, All right, so we've got more to come here on It's Always Game Day in Cleveland. Again, we want to look ahead to some of the things that need to happen for the Browns, and I need to ask you a question about days off. Is this team in a position to be taking any days off before a game? We'll touch on that next. It's Always Game Day in Cleveland.